So today we're going to do dividing sign decimals. We have our steps. Our first example is going to be negative 1/8 divided by 1/2. It is very, very similar to multiplication, but there is one step we have to do before we can do our multiplication steps. Does anyone know what it might be? Taylor? Close. Not leave change opposite, leave change flip. So, our first step, you are going to leave the first fraction the same. So leave that first fraction the same. That's that leave part. So the negative 1/8 stays a negative 1/8. We don't change that. Okay? Then we change. You're going to change division to what? To multiplication. So division changes to a multiplication sign. Then you are going to flip. Another word that is flip, which you guys need to make sure you know. Do you know what that word is, Drake? Well, yeah, that's how we do it, but does anyone know what the math word is for flip? Close, not quite. It is called reciprocal.
I totally use that.
You will see that word pop up on Alex. Just heads up. So reciprocal is the math word for flip. So you are going to do the reciprocal of the second fraction, which, as we just said, is flip. So when you see reciprocal, it means you need to flip it. Your top becomes your bottom, and the bottom becomes the top. So 1 over 2 becomes what? 2 over 1. Any questions on leave, change, flip? Now you follow your multiplication steps. I'll explain it when we're done with the whole problem. So now you follow your multiplication steps, which means you can cross cancel. What can I cross cancel? What's the 2 become? 1. What's the 8 become? 4. Now what do I do? 1 times 1 is? 4 times 1 is? Positive or negative? Why is it negative?
The signs are different.
The signs are different, therefore it's a negative. So step 2, follow multiplying signed fraction rules. Charlie. No. That's why we have to do that leave, change, flip. Because if you don't flip it, you're not going to get that. So think about it this way. I'm cutting an 1/8 in half, right? Okay? Meaning I want my answer, it's like what times what will give me an 8. So if I cut an 1/8 in half, okay, you're cutting that 8 in half, and half of 8 is 4. So that's why it's 1/4, because you're cutting the 8 in half. Half of 8, it's what 2 fractions added together would get you 1/8. A fourth plus a fourth. You're getting 2/4 put together. Oh, well, you're multiplying it. So multiply it by 2 and you're good. It'll happen occasionally. It really just depends on the problem. McCoy.
I'm not gonna say I'm feeling because I already am feeling this stuff. Oh, without getting notes, I'd be like, far.
Well, that's why we take notes.
I'd be like.
All right, let's do another example, guys. -5/7 divided by a -10. Now, before I can do anything, what must I do?
Make 10 and make, improper fraction.
Good. How do I make 10 an improper fraction? Put it over 1. If you do not do that step, you have the potential to get it wrong, and I see it all the time. You must put the 10 over the 1 before you do your leaf change flip. Okay, everyone do your leaf change flip for me. It's the whole thing is negative. So it doesn't matter where the negative is, it's the whole thing is negative, no matter what. Yep. Then it does not matter where your negative placement is, the whole thing's negative no matter what. Drake?
From Alex, I have one question where I had 2 negatives on one, and then I have 1 negative on next. So I thought it would be a negative. Wait, no. No, I thought it would be a positive because it's 2 negatives, because I thought both negatives, and then I got it wrong. So when it has 2 negatives on one, like fraction, would that be just 1 negative or 2?
If there are 2 negatives, so one was on top and one was on bottom, those 2 negatives make a positive.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. The last time
Yep.
I got it wrong.
That was right. And then the negatives are in your answer would be a negative. So yeah, if there's ever 2 negatives on one fraction, it ends up being a positive. McCoy.
The numerator and the denominator both have them.
Yep.
Yeah, that confused me.
Yep. If the numerator and denominator are both negatives, that means technically the fraction is a positive. Okay, let's keep going, guys. So leaf change flip. What's my first fraction? What is it, everyone? And then what do I write? Times what? Okay, now what can I do? I can cross cancel, right? Boys, what can I cross cancel?
5 and 10.
5 becomes a
1,
10 becomes a
5.
now what?
Multiply.
Now we multiply. So 1 times 1 is
1.
7 times 2 is
14.
positive or negative?
Positive.
Why? Signs are the same. Okay, next question. Sample 3.
So we have no more notes after that?
I don't know.
It's 2 that I have to add signs on the
Okay. -5/6 divided by -2/3. -5/6 divided by -2/3.
You can do it next number.
Okay, first of all, what's the first thing we do? Okay, what's the first fraction? -5/6 because we need to leave it alone. What happens to that division sign? And -2/3, what happens to it? Now what? Cross cancel. What can I cross cancel? 3 becomes a 6 becomes a. Now what? 5 times 1 is 2 times 2 is 1. What is that? Are we allowed to have improper fractions as answers? No. So we must change it to a mixed number. What is it? Positive or negative. Why? Signs are the same. Last question for our notebook. Let's do 6 divided by 2 sevenths. 6, both positive. 6 divided by 2 sevenths. What's the first thing I need to do? Good. 6 goes over what, everyone? Please make sure that you are putting those 1 underneath. It's always there. You just don't see it. Yes, Paxton. If you put 2 or 3 equal to 3. If I put that as a 2? Yeah. Yes. Which is why it has to be a 1. Because otherwise it completely changes the number. Yep. So, 6. Lee, what do I do now, everyone? So what's my first fraction? Then what? Leave, change, flip. Questions? Charlie. With multiplying, you are asking for part of a number. So what is a small part of that whole number? Does that make sense? So like one of the easiest examples I can think of is if I give you the number 12, like say you got 3/4 of 12. This of means multiply. That's that key. It's a key word. If you see the word of, it means to multiply. So you're taking 3/4 times 12, which means I want the number that is 3/4 of 12. Like, so 1/4 of 12 is 3, and there's 4 3s, that go into 12, right? And I want 3 of them, which gives you 9. So when you're multiplying, you're asking what's the part of the bigger number, and dividing is reversing that. They don't. That's just how it is. Okay. Now what? Cross cancel. What's my cross cancel? 2 becomes a 6 becomes a 3. Now what? Multiply cross. 3 times 7 is over. That equals positive or negative? So we are, because this is a division problem, we're reversing that. Okay? So we're reversing this right here. Okay? Because multiplication with fractions, it gets smaller. Because with a fraction is not a whole, right? So it's going to be smaller of that fraction because it's not a whole. 12 would be a whole. Okay? So with division, if we're taking that 21 divided by that 6, or that 21 divided by that 2 sevenths, okay, you're getting just a different glimpse of it. So you're getting a bigger number. Yes, bud. You don't have to do leave change opposite on the ones that's 7 minus 5. If it was 5 minus 7, then you need to leave change opposite. But on the ones that are straightforward and simple, you don't need to.